Alright, an actual YouTube video, but I'm not going to make a habit of it. And yeah, for you people who comment and make some sort of remarks like, it's to my advantage or something to play the YouTube game. Well, no, I mean somebody's got to protest somewhere. If everybody just gives in to YouTube, then yeah, everybody just gives in. So, well, whatever. I'm doing it this way. Anyway, for the time being, protest. It's protest, damn it. Um, yeah, anyway. So this is a TJ video. Yay! Let's see if he accepts it as a response. He's sort of inviting conversation, so I thought I would engage him in conversation. In a polite enough manner, hopefully. Basically on the subject of utilitarian type philosophy and its relationship to what might be called animal rights, which he doesn't recognize. So I guess I would sort of make the argument that an atheist, wanders into the world, and if they open their eyes and they don't use any prejudgment, if they don't go by any classic models of what reality is, and they go out and they discern it for themselves, just being knowledgeable, understanding evolution and some cosmology and biology, some basic science, but no prehistory, no human history of what the truth is. And they just step out and they try to make an honest observation of what the game is, what the territory is, and what their role in it is. That it seems pretty apparent. I mean, you look out there and you say, well, what's the important feature here? It's this comfort thing. This human beings can feel pain, and human beings can feel pleasure. And then you also realize that well, human beings are just barely, transitioned, just a transition from these other mammals, these other animals that have built on the same mechanism. A mechanism that's probably been around a long time. Pain and pleasure has probably been a motivating mechanism in central nervous systems for a long time. And, it really is the value of the whole game. I mean, if you try to figure out what gives something value, you can usually relate it back to the fact that it'll have a positive effect or a negative effect on a sentient creature. There's no other way to assess value but then to understand that that's the real game here. And yeah, we can have our individual preferences and prejudices and likes and dislikes, but the bottom line is the game is to optimize the number of people enjoying this sensation of pleasure. That we're really not obligated to play some sort of monopoly game where I take your money, you take my money. There's some, like, I have to get my pleasure at your suffering. Like I have to compromise somebody else's welfare to be the winner. It's really not that kind of game. We can see it, that we can sort of maximize it by getting along and having some basic rules of functionality, and that way we can all kind of win. It's not a winner take it all kind of game. It's a game where you just try to maximize, you just try to prevent the broken legs, you try to prevent the hardship, the pain, the suffering, the miseries, by just creating some sort of efficient systems that have the utility of enhancing efficiency. And the efficiency is sort of going to be defined by this, how much pain or how much pleasure it creates. And so yeah, if we look at human beings, we can see that some people are preposterously high maintenance. I mean, we laugh at girls, we call them high maintenance if they're too friggin' silly, just too big a waste, because they require just too much attention. They're just too consuming, too delicate, too demanding, too I need, I want, I must have bullshit. And yeah, and we can see that that's obnoxious and silly. And why shouldn't you be more functional, where we can be psychologically easy to please. We don't have to be hard to please. We could be easy to please. And it would be a good idea to tend towards that end, to make people, human beings that don't need, to sleep on 43 mattresses because they can feel a pee under one of them or something. No, you want a human being that can get a good night's sleep, maybe even on a couch. A little more durable and a little less demanding, a little less consuming of resources, and resources are basically welfare. It's the welfare of some other person is what a dollar bill equals. You can buy human comfort with money. It's just that simple. And you can buy comfort of, again, why not just extend it to these other feeling organisms? They're only the only thing they lack in any kind of proven scientific, demonstrated factual way. The only thing they lack is the capacity to have complex conversation. But they're certainly capable of feeling, and feeling something very substantial. And there's just no reason to have a bias against them unless you're a human, unless you're doing something that isn't scientific, unless you're doing something that isn't intelligent, which is exercising a bigotry or some cultural conditioning or some other crap. And it's just that crap. And so you seem to be very glued to some very archaic old crap. This crap that humans are superior and humans are doing something really, really important, and that somehow just finding their little satisfactions in their elaborate and silly ways, because they can build a Super Bowl and play a football game in it, that somehow they're doing something more meaningful than an animal who's going out on a date. Or a mother elephant that loves her child. No, we're not doing anything more meaningful than that. And for you not to have respect for that, to respect that these other sentient creatures are in the same game you're playing, that their welfare is just as important as your welfare, their pain is just as real as your pain, and that you really can't gain at their expense. You're not winning the game then. You're playing it like Monopoly. You're taking from something to gain your satisfaction, and it's clearly demonstrated that you don't have to do the taking. You certainly can control how much you take. You certainly don't have to be excessive about it, or gratuitous about it, or even ungrateful, and obnoxious, insensitive. So yeah, I mean, there's just a logical argument. Like, so what else is of value here? You're saying diamonds are really valuable? They're only valuable because they please human beings. Everything that has any value only has value because it can affect a sensitive human being. And there's just no reason, no rational reason, to apply some silly standard that says you're just not smart enough for us to care whether you suffer. That's a stupid piece of logic. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever to make that judgment. So unless you have some scientific theory that demonstrates that sentience, feelings, emotions are somehow substantially diminished, somehow whispers of reality, and that the only thing that matters is being able to keep score at the baseball game on your score pad, like that's so much more profound than a mother elephant's love for its little baby. Yeah, compared to that baseball scorecard, no, that elephant love doesn't mean nothing. I mean, make an argument that makes some sort of rational sense, that isn't based on some sort of historic bigotry, some sort of historic, humanistic, egocentric nonsense. And explain to me why altruism isn't the answer, why altruism wouldn't include other sentient creatures as a rational mandate, and justify yourself. Justify this idea that somehow you can dismiss the taking, that somehow you're entitled by some DNA logic. You ask DNA molecules what right and wrong is. You can't figure it out for yourself, that you're in the game and that the game is about pain and suffering and pleasure, and that there has to be some sort of balance in terms of how that's acquired, how it's apportioned out, that there's a rational equation. Yeah, so enough of a video. So anyway, yeah, I was pretty polite, right? Okay. Anyway, see what happens. See you next time.